Hello, hello. Welcome, everyone. Good to see you all. Hey, Matt. Hi, John. Shiloh and Toby, Grace, Oriolua. Hope I pronounced your name correctly. Maria, it's good to see you again. I think Shiloh's name, their audio is coming online. Yes, all right. Shiloh, your audio is now connected. Well, hello. Good to see you. Good to see your hand, your digital hand. All right, I'm going to lower the song. You see, notice I'm procrastinating a little bit because I just love this song, and it always pains me to lower the volume on it, right? But it's going to happen. I'm doing it right now. All right, onward with the program. Great. All right, welcome everyone. So good to see you all. We are here for week 6 of the Make It Until You Make It challenge. And this week, we have the Instagram, Facebook, WhatsApp challenge. This is going to be a fun one. It builds on what we did last week, and it takes it to the next level. In fact, it's one of my favorites. And I use the learning that we're going to impart with you today. I use it a lot in my professional life. And I think that it's going, and I have a couple of examples of how that's the case. And so I'm really excited to share that with you and have you engage in this work. Okay, so I'm going to share my screen. And actually, before I do, real quick, Matt, I'm going to just check in with you and see. We do have a speaker today, don't we?
And yes, we do. We're excited to have him. He's here now too, so we're ready when you are.
Okay, great. So we'll do. So we won't. I have some things on the tail end, and I'll do that after the fact. But we'll start with the speaker that you have. And why don't I just go ahead and share a few slides so that we set some context for those who are arriving and joining us for the first time. Okay, so can you all see my screen? Terrific. Okay, welcome again, everyone. And for those of you who haven't joined us before, you know that we love networking, particularly with a lot of minority communities who may not have a huge network. We need to network with ourselves. You never know who's 1 or 2 degrees of separation away. And so the more we expand our LinkedIn network, the more we'll be able to reach into other communities and find great jobs and careers and networks. So go ahead and drop your LinkedIn into the chat window. Simeon will assemble a Google Doc that will allow you to get everyone's handle before you leave. We have a large community of industry support and mentors. A number of them have come to us and said, we want diverse talent. Roblox wants to hire a sound engineer who's in college. Verizon is a big supporter of our program, and they have a number of internships and full-time jobs aimed at college students. No, guarantees, obviously, of landing those, but we would love to help you find a way to make that happen. Universal Audio, they came to us saying, we have 2 positions. Please help us find folks in the sound world. Bose, we have SiriusXM, a growing company. ByteDance, many people don't recognize that name, but they are the makers of TikTok. And so lots of jobs there. Take-Two Interactive, they make Grand Theft Auto and 2K NBA. I know I'm messing that up, but lots of gaming platform names, platforms, games, and they're growing like mad during the pandemic. So next Friday at 4 p.m., we are hosting a job application prep for any students who have indicated an interest in any of those positions. So direct message Tara if you're interested. It's 1 hour. You come with your resume, your cover letter, your LinkedIn, and we pair you with a mentor who looks at your stuff and tells you this is your dream job. Well, this is how you come across. Maybe we should enhance it in this way. And then let's give you some mock questions and make sure you are as sharp as you can be as you apply to this job. So consider that. So 10-week Make It Till You Make It series, we are in week 6. And the whole point of all the different challenges is to enhance your emotional intelligence, and also known as your emotional quotient, because that's what employers really want. They want you to understand your strengths and weaknesses. And we believe exercising your design mindset, where you're pushing yourself to try new skills, not really fearing failure, but just trying to make and develop, and then reflecting on that experience and sharing it with your mentors at the end of the week, showing your work product, and having them help you understand why these skills could be really vital and important to the career that you have stated an interest in. So you receive mentorship, and ultimately our goal is to help you land your dream job. As I mentioned, we're in week 6, and at the end of this session, we'll have a challenge recording. So if you know friends who should participate in this alongside you, you will get the whole deck and the recording from Tara afterwards, and you can forward that on and co-opt some of your friends to participate in this with us. So before we dive into the challenge of the week, we are going to turn our attention to our awesome colleagues at Verizon, who have great depth of knowledge in the social media space and an understanding of these platforms. And I'm going to turn it over to my colleague, Matt Taylor, who will introduce the guest speaker for us. Matt.
Thank you, Humira. Perfect. Okay, so yes, so speaking of dream job, I think we all get to have our fun on social media across all the various channels, but what's it like to actually be able to do it for a living and have somebody pay you for it? You got to be especially good at it. There's some science behind courting controversy or creating hot takes or creating content that people love or have a reaction to. And so we're very lucky today, actually, to be joined by someone who is not only does it for a living, but is actually extremely great at it. So as you all know, I think my brother Marcus works with Yahoo Sports on that brand specifically. And so he was able to reach out to one of his contacts and good friends, Young Gasolina, AKA John Nichols, AKA, let's bring out every character we can find. Oh, I see the name.
Gasolina, you must have seen the podcast. There we go.
You can find him on Yahoo Sports Podcast, other places. I'll pass it to you. Anything you can share. We talked about this before, so I think you have something prepared. The floor is yours, man. We're happy to have you here.
So how much time do I have? Like, what you want? 10 minutes? Like, what we talking about? What you want me to do?
Good question. Humira, you're on mute, but we'd love to hear what you do.
Great. So it's 3:10 now. I think that I would be okay with maybe between 20 and 30 minutes. So wow. if you want 10 minutes and then Q&A, if you want 15 minutes in Q&A, okay. Like, hey, they are always hearing from me and I can compress what I have to impart. So let's hear from you.
Are we curse word friendly? Like what's the
Yes. Yeah. Did you know that it's a sign of intelligence?
I've read that, but I don't know, want to read the room. So I appreciate you giving me that.
Bring it.
Thank you. All right. So my internet name is LeJethro Jenkins. That is not my real name. My mom loves me way more than that. All right. My actual name is John Nichols, so just call me John. I have a degree in finance. I have never used that degree. My mom was an accountant. I actually wanted to be an artist when I grew up, but she pushed me into finance, so I did that. I graduated, got a job. The first thing my mom said when I graduated was, "Congratulations, we're gonna see how good your hustle is now, for real." And that's the truth. Like you're the what you pick as when you graduate from college, that doesn't really define you. You know what I mean? You'll have to make a bunch of decisions about your career after that. But I worked a job that I didn't like for like 8 years. And what it did do for me was it gave me time to do the creating, which got me the job that I love now. Your road to success is not linear. You know what I mean? It's not a direct path. Sometimes you do things you don't want to do. And I think college prepared me for that. You know what I mean? Like, I think education doesn't talk about how intelligent you are. It's just, it's to see how good you are doing things you don't necessarily want to do at times. You know what I'm saying? So it prepared me for that. You know, the grind in college prepared me for the grind in my working jobs that didn't like while I was trying to find the job that I love. So what I did to prepare myself for now, while I was working the job I didn't like, I started a blog. I created a spoof rap group. We made a song that went viral. I will not tell you what song it was, but you can Google me. Maybe you'll find it. I will not put that out there. I made music videos for rapper friends. I made as much shit as I could make. I just made things, you know what I mean? One thing I realized is that the things that you like as a kid, they really don't change that much as you get older. You know, we just are taught to fight that to get jobs, right? Like I love sneakers. I still buy sneakers. I'm too old to be buying them, but I still love them, right? And I still wear them, you know what I mean? I love drawing. I love sports. And this is all the stuff that I like, all these things that I was into back then. I'm using that now. And I tell people this, like, one of your most valuable things you'll have is your taste. You know what I mean? Like people are like, how do you do this, John? Like it started when I was a kid, like at home watching this or, you know, researching this or my interest back as a kid. I can't give you this information. My brain has been built from a child. It's all my interests added up till now. You know what I mean? So yeah, like I think like, you know, don't fight those things. Actually just continue to develop those things that you naturally want to do. I think these things are placed in us to want to do these things. And it's our job is to find a way to get paid doing them, you know? Like one thing I realized like in my past is like, I was a recruiter as a job, right? But I was an artist. Like I was a creator. That was what I actually was. And my buddy, he's a photographer. He's in the Smithsonian now. You know, I mean, he worked at Pepsi for a few years before he got to, you know, to the Smithsonian. Now he works for himself, but he was a photographer even when he was working at Pepsi. You know what I mean? So your job doesn't necessarily define you. You know what I'm saying as well. But yeah, even though I didn't have a job in creative space, I know, you know, the things that I created while at the job I didn't like were built, you know, helped me to do what I'm doing now. Actually, I almost got fired a couple of times because of the things I was creating. You know what I mean? It was going viral, and the company didn't necessarily agree with it initially. But like I said, those things got me into art school, which I went to after I quit that job, and it got me the job now, which I get paid 3 times more than I was getting paid for the company I was working for. You know what I'm saying? So it's sometimes you'll find yourself in places where at first initially I felt like, you know, what's wrong with this content? It's not a big deal, you know what I mean? But it wasn't them, it was me. I was in the wrong place and I had to find a place for me. And there's a place for you and the things you want to do as well. You know what I mean? So you might find yourself, you know, doing like jobs you don't like and stuff like that. But if you continue to work and grind, you'll get there. Like I didn't get paid for the first 7 years of the things I created, but I did it because I loved it. You know what I mean? And people say, you find a job you love and you want to work another day in your life. That's a lie. Don't let them lie to you. You work harder than you've ever worked before because it matters to you. You know what I'm saying? You'll put a bunch of effort into it because it matters and you care about it. You know what I mean? I went to art school after I quit my job. And there's 2 things that happened to me that helped me like to change the way I saw things while I was at that job. My homie took me to his job as an art director. Do y'all know what an art director is? Have y'all heard of that before? You don't know? Okay.
No.
Okay, yeah. Well, I mean, an art director is a person that for commercials, the art director decides what the commercial looks and feels like. You feel what I'm saying? And so I didn't know that existed. You feel me? I was like, I didn't know that job. That's what I was doing for fun, like art directing things at the crib. And people were getting paid big money to do this stuff, right? And I'm like, oh, this exists. I'm like, there's a place for me in this world. And I think if I could have done anything different in college, but I would have tried internships. I would try to experience more things and get and to have a better understanding of what was out there in the world before I, went out there. And what grade is this? I want to make sure. What age this group is this? Is this college level students?
These are all college level students.
Okay, cool.
And a variety from first years to seniors.
Cool. So if any opportunities you have to like just experience stuff, do that. Study abroad, whatever. And I think also traveling abroad helped me too. That's the other thing that really helped me. Have y'all heard of Prince E? He's like a motivational speaker, dude. I don't know if he has like millions of followers. That was my roommate in college. I remember like asking him what he wanted to do, like when he grew up. And he said, I got some cool friends like him, my buddies in the Smithsonian. Like, I'm lucky, bro. Like, I'm like the weakest out of all my homies. But anyway, I was like, what do you want to do, when you grow up? You know what I'm saying? And he was like, the internet's my job. He just saw things a little differently. You know what I mean? And so he was pursuing that. He had an opportunity to go to Africa. And so he's like, yo, I'm going to go to Africa. You want to go? I'm like, of course. You know what I'm saying? Like, what? And so I went to we were experiencing Africa in ways that people don't get access to it. Like, we were in the bush in Nigeria, you know what I mean? We were in the Congolese rainforest. Like, I was sleeping on it was a completely different experience that I've ever had in my life. There was one particular moment where we were in Nigeria. We were not in Nigeria. We were in Congo in the rainforest. And one of the chiefs was arguing with our interpreter. And the chief said, he needed more money to support it. He had multiple wives, to support my wives. And the interpreter said, if your wives are with you for your money, then they're not good wives. And I didn't know what he said. So I asked the other interpreter, what he say? And he told me, because when he said it, I could feel the tension rising. And I was like, are we going to be okay? Like, can you say that? You know what I mean? Like, they started arguing. I didn't know what was going on. I asked my buddy, I'm like, dude, you got your knife on you? He was like Prince C was like, nah. The other one was like, I got mine on me, but what are we going to do, John? Like, we're going to run into the rainforest or run into the river? You know what I mean? Where there's hippos and crocs, or are we going to run into the rainforest? We don't know what exists out there. He's like, we have to trust the universe and just relax. And I was like, I'm just going to sleep. I went to sleep, woke up, and everybody was dancing and drunk and having fun. And I'm like, bro, like all these scary things that, we tell ourselves, and this fear we build up, like it's people told me not to go. Some people told me not to go on that trip, but it was the most important trip of my life. The first night I got there, I cried just because of how I felt being there. You know what I mean? And don't let other people's fears push you. You know what I mean? If I didn't go, I probably wouldn't be where I'm at now, because I wouldn't have the courage to take the jump that I need to take. You feel me? So like people, I'm gonna be honest with you. A lot of people don't know shit. You know what I'm saying? It's for you to decide what is necessary to you and what isn't. You know what I mean? You got to kind of like filter out certain things. You know what I mean? And some things you're gonna have to learn yourself. And I knew that, and I went out there and had that experience, and I learned so much. And I came back and I was like, I need adventure in my life. I'm not a 9-to-5 dude. And that's why I was like, these people aren't in the wrong place. I'm in the wrong place. You know what I mean? That's why, and ever since I made that jump, I've had the universe has given me so many different opportunities, right? So I quit and went to art school. Art school, I was only there 2 semesters. I got 2 job offers. What I learned in art school, though, was what it took to be great at something. Like, I had to work. I had a finance degree. I didn't work half as hard to get that finance degree. I worked so hard every day in art school. It was the hardest I've ever worked. You think you wouldn't work in art school. It's the opposite of the truth. It takes so much to be great at something. So I learned the work ethic that I needed while there. So I gained something there. But I got 2 job offers. Had an opportunity in New York and an opportunity in LA. The opportunity in New York, they wanted to take it was a great offer. It was good money. It was a bit more money than I ever made in my life. They wanted me to, I had a podcast. I don't know, if you're familiar with All Def Digital, but I had a podcast that I was doing, and they were helping to support that. And I was really cool with the dude, Kev on Stage. You might know him. He's popping. Like, he's so popping now. Like, that's the homie. But he's the most genuine person ever. He's so sweet. He's such a sweet dude. But anyway, I was working with him, and I had another job offer in, like I said, New York. So they wanted to take the podcast from Kev on Stage, and I'm not good at that playing game stuff, right? So I hit up Kev. I'm like, yo, this place offered me the job. They want this podcast. I need this money. I'm broke, dog. I need this opportunity, but I wanted to give you a heads up. He said, let me see what I can do. He talked to the CEO of the company. They gave me a job offer. It was $30K less than what they offered at the in New York. I still took it because I trusted the people, and I went with my chest. You know, I followed what my gut told me. Came to LA. Tell me why, like 4 months later, that company laid off 100 people. You know what I mean? Like the vast majority of the people. And so like, listen to that too. Sometimes your gut, your gut really trust that, and even if I would have chosen and it didn't work out, I would have been fine with it not working out, being that I went where I thought I should go. You know what I mean? Kev took care of me. Like I said, he's such a genuine dude. And he deserves all the success he has. I was there like 8 months and then got the job offer at Yahoo. And now I'm a creative producer for Yahoo. I'm talent. I created shows, creative director. They let me creative direct stuff, things like that. But I've learned a few things like during my time there, and I want to like kind of highlight some of those. Like during my my experiences, I've learned a few things, and I'll open it up for questions. You feel me? Let me see. I think I've said some of these things already. Okay. One thing I learned is there's no wrong way to create. All right. There are a million ways. Like creation to me is like problem solving. That's all. You know what I mean? There are a million ways to create, and and don't let somebody tell you the way you go about things is wrong. You know what I mean? Listen to them and take because when I was in art school, they gave me they told me something like, don't borrow, steal. And the reason they said that is because like we're all inspired by each other, right? But if you borrow something, people are gonna know exactly where that thing came from. You know what I mean? If you stole it, you made it yours. You know what I mean? And let's trip off this. Are y'all familiar with what's old boy's name? The dude that made the song Cha Cha. Drum. You familiar with Drum? Y'all familiar with him? I don't know. I'm kind of. Yeah, so he made that song Cha Cha. I like the Cha Cha. Remember that joint? And then Drake dropped Hotline Bling, right? And Beyonce was dancing to Cha Cha, right? But Hotline Bling, I don't support this because I hate it happened to Drum. You know what I mean? But Hotline Bling was so hot, people forgot about Cha Cha. And that was and he basically stole that. He stole. So that's what they're saying is like, don't be a culture vulture. What I'm saying is like, if you're gonna do something, do it so good, you're gonna be inspired. Do something so good that it's yours. You know what I mean? That takes a lot of work and a lot of effort, but don't be afraid of seeing something. Like there's a lot of stuff that I see. Like, I don't know if y'all familiar with Madberry Club, but definitely get hip to them. If you're in the creative, get hip to Madberry Club. Philip T. Anand is a genius, and he's been doing stuff. He's like 8 years ahead. He lives in the future, it seems like, you know what I mean? So I would look at their stuff and be inspired all the time, you know what I mean? But I did it in my own way. So that's how I created my style. Was like, a creation was like, I like this, I like this, I like this. I'm taking bits and pieces from everywhere. And I stole those pieces and added into mine and then amalgamated to my style. You feel me? And so like, that's one thing I learned there. I talked about taste. I talked about my mom's first words. I talked about the path is not linear. And I want to say that because like I want to kind of highlight your path is not linear. One thing I hate is that, 21-year-olds, 22-year-olds, you looking at folks that's popping because they like, whether it's, somebody made it off of TikTok and they at the All-Star game now or whatever. Like, that's an anomaly. You know what I mean? It takes time. A lot of people you've seen that are successful, they've gone back and forth, switched jobs, and it took time for them to find that. You know what I mean? So don't expect to be out here with a 6 Series BMW and a 3-bedroom house in LA, you know what I mean, at 25. You know what I mean? Take your time. Give yourself be careful, be forgiving to yourself. Give yourself room to make these mistakes. It's part of the experience. And people talk about like the journey is the blessing, and it sounds so corny. I know. I'm like, shut up. The check is the blessing, but no, the journey truly is the blessing. Like the people you meet along the way, the friendships you make. You know what I mean? I have some solid friends. If I send them some trash, they'll be like, bro, that's trash. Like they'll tell me that. And like I said, with your taste, like people are paid good dollars to be able to say if something's garbage. Like, that's not it. Knowing what's it and what ain't is valuable. You know what I mean? And y'all are gonna know what's it way more than I will. You feel me? Y'all, computers weren't cool. I didn't have a computer for real till I was in college. You know what I mean? y'all grew up and understand the internet in ways that I never will. And y'all take it places that nobody ever will. Don't let none of these old heads say that back in my day, because we had some trash stuff too going on. You feel me? You know what I mean? Explore things in the way you feel necessary and way you're led to, and just see where it goes. You know what I mean? Because that's the only way it's going to be fun. You know, you can have a job. I could be a creative producer getting paid to be that and be making stuff that I do not like. You know what I mean? And so like, it's the job itself is not, you know, like the blessing. It's how you go about doing it. And because I was like the things that I was almost getting fired for, they're on my resume. Yo, that rap song that I'm not sharing with y'all, it's on my resume. This is me. I want to go there and I want to wear jeans, maybe sweats now. Jeans are dress up clothes now after the pandy. You know what I mean? Like jeans, I'm wearing them to weddings now. But you know what I mean? But no, like, you know, like I want to wear jeans. I want to wear sneakers. I want to be me. You know what I mean? I want to be able to be myself in meetings and comfortable being me. I don't want to have to code switch. You know, I want to be respectful, but I want to be myself. I want to be myself. And that's me putting myself forward in the stuff that I create. This is what you're going to get. And don't be afraid of that stuff, man. Like, so there's a place. I mean, look at Zach Fox. Look at Zach Fox. Like I interview him for my podcast. Like the podcast that almost got me fired, I get paid to do that now. You know what I mean? The content, like I said, almost got me fired. Now that content is on my resume. So like follow, I mean, like there's obviously I wasn't making like disrespectful stuff, you know what I mean? But I think you can push boundaries in a way that's respectful and to you and the art. You know what I mean? And I think that actually pushes the art forward. If we're all creating the same type of stuff, art is sterile. And that's the last thing you want, you know, out of creation is sterile creation. And one thing too is if you can tell when people have created content and isn't true to themselves. If anybody can tell, y'all can. Because y'all be calling folks out on the internet like, you know what I mean? Sending the old man meme, like, you know, when people try to talk in ways they don't talk. Y'all, you know what I'm saying? So like, you know, yeah, like be true to yourselves because people can sense that now, you know, like one thing I say about y'all generation is y'all can see right through some bullshit. If it's not real or true, y'all can see, you know, if somebody's faking or fraudulent about this, you're like, you know, this ain't it. This ain't it. Y'all will let us know. And so trust that in yourself too. You know what I mean? But any questions? Any questions?
Go ahead. We're a small enough group. Go ahead and take yourself off mute or drop it in the chat window, whatever you're comfortable with.
Does that make any sense?
Yeah.
Stuff I was saying? Okay, I didn't know. I'm scatterbrained. So like I try to like take notes and read off the notes. I was like, man, I'm not. I can't be up here. I am LeJethro Jenkins. Like I can't be like that. But any questions y'all have?
You know, I think I'm always saying this, and you said it in different words, but the importance of the side hustle. Don't wait for someone to give you permission to do something that lights your fire, because you may not have come from the right zip code or the right, degree or the right whatever. Like you may not even know where it leads, but in essence, what you did was you poured yourself into your side hustle, your passion.
My mom always says like you have your 9 to 5, then you have your 5 to 9. Also, my mom kind of different. She from St. Louis. She from the hood. She made it out of a particular place. You know, she was like the chancellor of University of Colorado before she retired. It's funny seeing her going to work and how she talked. And then she come home and she cursed like a sailor. And I asked her where she's from. She's like, North Side, like, you know what I mean? Like, but she know how to figure that out. So when I graduated, like I said, the first thing my mom said was, she said, congratulations, baby, I love you. But now we're gonna see how your hustle really is. And so I really realized that like in order to something, like I'm from St. Louis, you know what I mean? I don't have a bunch of opportunities there. I had to actually leave in order to get jobs like this. They don't have these jobs, you know what I mean? Like, so like, but like, yeah, I had to leave. And so I had to grind and do things, you know, in a different way. And like I said, you're past your own, you know, success is not a linear path, you know, and we all have our own way to doing what we want to do. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, for me, I mean, I would come home, I would run home, would drive obviously out of whip, but I couldn't wait to get home to start doing the things I wanted to do. You know what I mean? And what's crazy is like, I remember there's a video of me online crying because I interviewed Manny Pacquiao, right? I used to watch Manny Pacquiao, and it wasn't because it was Manny, it's because I used to watch Manny Pacquiao, like boxing videos. It was my interest, you know what I mean? I used to watch his little boxing videos like while I was bored at work sometimes. And then I'm interviewing him. And I'm like, how did that happen? You know, I'm sitting down. I went on a run with the man before a fight and sat down and ate breakfast with him, talking to him, like interviewing him. Like, what? Like, how? And so, like, give yourself chances to have those moments. You know what I'm saying? Give yourself chances. Like, let the world beat you up. You feel me? Don't beat, you know what I'm saying? Don't tell yourself these lies. You can't do these things. If I would have told myself, like, if I would have went back in time and been like, John, you will be interviewing this dude at some point, I would have been like, you a liar, dog. Shut up. I would have called me, you know what I mean? But like, don't do that. You know what I'm saying? Give yourself opportunities and take risks on yourself. Ever since I've been taking risks to do the things that I love, like I said, the universe has been kind of working with me. And man, that's hard work and a whole bunch of other things too. But like, you know, give yourself those chances, man. Don't let people tell you can't do certain things, man.
All right, let me ask you another question, a follow-on question.
All right, cool.
Students, if you have follow-on questions too, like go ahead and add it in the chat window or raise your hands and we'll like turn to you. But until then, I just want to ask, you know, intellectually you hear this and you know, I'm sure we've heard this from other people before. And it sounds like you had an amazing mom, like so lucky. And in
momming like a mug, man. She's really good at momming. She's very special. Indeed.
Right, they all are. They are. And you surround yourself with people who believe in you, or you try to at least.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, there are times when you do ask yourself, "Well, am I where I thought I would be? Is this going anywhere? Look at that other person; they're there." And we do have such a culture of like comparing ourselves. So, like, how did you keep that at bay and have the like quiet resolve to
keep? I did that so much. I did. That's why I say don't do that to yourselves. You know that it gets you nowhere. But what kept me going was that I was creating because I love creating. It wasn't about like, you know, the people or recognition for me. Like I don't know if y'all hit the Seinfeld. That's some old head stuff, but I love Seinfeld. You feel me? You know what I mean? Anyway, Jerry had 10 seasons. He made $1 billion off of it with a B. You feel me? Like big billion. You know what I'm saying? And he said, what made it good was it was about the work. It was about the work. It wasn't about the recognition. It was about the work. So I don't honestly, like, you can pay me for something. If I think it's trash, I'm not going to feel good about what I created. Just as I got a bag for it doesn't make me feel good. If I like the content I'm creating and putting out in the world, that's what really fulfills me. Yes, I want to get paid because I got bills to pay. I'm responsible for me. You feel me? You know what I mean? But when it comes to comparing yourself, just don't. There's no value in it. We all have our own path. You know what I mean? And some people get they big back. I mean, you see these dudes at 21 go crazy, get a viral hit, and we don't see them again. They got to make that whatever $1 million last for the rest of their life, or figure out how to invest it. I mean, that's a good foundation to build upon. I mean, you blow that, you tripping. But you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, got to figure that out for the rest of their life. You know what I'm saying? Like, it just took me a little longer to get there, and I'm still just as happy. You know, and I'm kind of like a slow burn anyway. You know, I like my Currency's my favorite rapper, and he's the type of dude that took his time to get to where he is. He never took the fast route. You know, he did it the way that he wanted to do it. And that's how I'm going about it. You know what I mean? So I got a lot of work to do, a lot of grinding to do. You know what I mean? I probably do that till I'm up out of here. You know what I'm saying? But like, I feel like, you know, I feel like that's the best way for you to approach it. Like, yo, my homie, like I said, I got homies that's really successful. And I could have looked at them and as like, damn, why I'm not there? You know what I'm saying? But I looked at them as like, it's possible. And I say I challenge you to do that. When you see somebody, you know what I'm saying, successful like that, just understand it's possible. It can be done. You know what I mean? So, and let that push you in that way. Don't let it drive you in like, why is it not me? Just know that your dreams can come true as well. And dreams come true, whatever. Like that you can do what you want to do with your life. That's what I'm saying. You feel me? Somebody asked me about stoner stories. Who asked me about stoner stories? I'm interested.
I'm not sure, but I know we have two stories here. Yeah.
Oh, that was me, but we can go to the hands raised first and then we can come back to that. I was just creeping on your YouTube. So
no, I can answer that if you want. That's cool.
Sure. Yeah, I was kind of.
I mean, it's legal.
Yeah.
I'm in LA, you feel me? I get high. I enjoy that. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, it was content I created. My mom worries about that. She's like, what if you want to be a politician? I'm like, Mom, look at me.
That was my question. How do you balance like your personal, whatever you want to post with like corporate America? And everybody's like, oh, you know, when I was in college, I just graduated. They're always like, make your social media private, make it private. Companies are going to look at that. So I was curious on how you have been able to like balance that.
I will tell you, I was kind of stupid when I was young. You feel me? Like I made some, I said some things, you know, like I thought a way that I don't think now. You know what I mean? So I see what they're saying because you'll probably change a little bit as you're older and you won't think in certain ways. But you see how like they're doing, folks. You know what I mean? Like folks that are 18 saying one thing and then they're 30 and they're getting fired for something they said at 18. And I don't know if that's right or wrong. I know what was said was wrong. And I know the company has to decide whether they want to align with that or not. You know what I mean? So for me, I'm 38. I'm a 38. You feel me? You know what I'm saying? So like, I kind of have an idea who I am, and I know I can walk that line a little differently now. You know what I mean? I'm not pushing boundaries in that way as much. I will push the work as much as I can. You know what I mean? But there's certain things I don't feel is necessary to say. But I say some silly shit online, though. I say some goofy. I push it a little bit, but I mean, there's, I understand how I want to move better now than I did when I was in my 20s, early 20s. And so it would have been, I tell people it would have been so difficult for me to walk that line at y'all's age.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So you decide what you want to do. You know what I mean? Maybe you make it private or not, you know what I mean? But
yeah, thank you for sharing like your
yeah. There may be some consequences to the things you say now, 12 years down the road, because it's online and it's always there. And I hate to sound like that old head, you feel me? Like, but you make the best decision for yourself, but you know, move how you want to move. But I'm glad that I'm glad Twitter wasn't around when I was 22. I'll say that.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Awesome.
I have a question. Oh,
yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, no, I was just gonna, there's Alexander and Toph, and who just said, was that Marcus?
Yeah.
Awesome, Marcus.
Third in line, cool.
Okay, all right, let's let Alexander.
Yeah, no, I was just kind of piggybacking off what you were just saying. Like you decide what you want, and the career path that you choose kind of, it's relative, the level of scrutiny I think you'll receive for what you put on the internet. It's relative to the career path you want to choose sometimes. And we're at an age where I don't think we really know 100%. I'm in my senior year, but I mean, my question was, how did your mom react to you going into like something that isn't finance, something completely different, you know?
Yeah, when I like my mom, your parents are scared for you. It's hard being a parent, dog. You know what I mean? Like they want the best for you. So even when your parents are real anxious and like, you should do this to make money, they really just want the best for you. It comes across weird sometimes. They just want the best for you. My mom wanted the best for me, but she didn't know what was the best for me. I knew at that point, you know what I mean? So she wasn't happy. When I was creating and stuff, she didn't necessarily get it. But when she saw me at that job, she saw that I wasn't happy at that job. She was like, and then she gave me some really good advice, sage advice, if I'd say so myself. She was like, don't be afraid. Don't let fear make decisions for you. You know what I'm saying? She said, you only remain stagnant if you let fear make decisions for you. And she said in a particular way, I won't say the word she used, but she said, don't let fear drive. Fear can ride, but it got to sit in the back. You left, you know what I'm saying? You drive, you know what I mean? And so like fear exists. Courage wouldn't exist if fear didn't exist. So she just was, she saw that I was unhappy and she saw that I was kind of fearful for making the decision. And she really just switched up her tone on some like, babe, you gotta do what's best for you and only you know that. And don't be afraid to make mistakes. You feel me? And I'll tell y'all that. Do not, like I said, don't be afraid to make mistakes. You're gonna make mistakes. If you're not making mistakes, you probably ain't challenging yourself. You know, you're gonna trip up and fall a little bit and you're gonna have to figure it out and you will. You know what I'm saying? My great grandma used to tell me something all the time, and it was always a fact. It's gonna be all right. That's what she said. I mean, Kendrick said now, we're gonna be all right. You know what I'm saying? Like, but for real, it's gonna be all right. You know what I mean? Like you're gonna have some ups and downs. You keep fighting, you're gonna be cool. You're gonna be cool. I'm telling you, you know what I mean? And so, yeah, she responded at first. She was like, yeah, John, I don't get this. But when she saw that it made me happy, what I'm doing, and I'm pushing, and she sees the success. Now she's like, baby, I'm glad you ain't listening to me. You know what I mean? So, yeah.
Awesome. Toph and then Marcus.
All right, John, I just want to say thank you for coming through. There's so many good things that you're saying, and I just want to highlight a couple. First off, just loved how you're able to give a real life example of aligning how you spend your time with your values, not only, you know, making that journey from getting to finance to being a creator, but also just the way that you show up every day. You have a style, you have a language, and you've shown that you could be successful. You don't have to change that. So I appreciate that. And then also I want to highlight how you've illustrated, you know, your commitment to learning from making mistakes like you're just talking about, but then also borrowing from the masters. So in that spirit of continual learning, because hopefully we're always trying to learn and trying to be better than we were yesterday. Tell us a little bit about what's inspiring you right now, what you're keeping an eye on, what you're interested in learning more about.
I mean, like, I'm interested in spaces that I don't necessarily get. I don't get TikTok. I don't understand it, but I know I see there's something valuable there. But like, what's really weird is like over the last couple years, I've been just going to museums and just like, I'll be honest, I get high and I go to museums and I just look around, you know what I mean? And I experience things and I look at how people are creating. I try to understand the process. I still look at like Madberry, come I go look back at old things that I did too, that inspired me. Cause you get away from this certain work and you're like, dang, I really created that. I should lean back into these type of things. But honestly, what inspires me the most though, and what continues to inspire me is like, I'll look at pictures of me like when I was 8 years old. And I'll think, what could I do now that would satisfy this kid? I feel like he did his job well, till like the teenager dude did his job well. 20s kind of messed it up a little bit, but he did the best he could. You know what I mean? And what can I do to continue that? You know what I mean? I kind of feel like I owe something to that kid. You know what I mean? But like things that straight inspire me, like as far as like products. I don't know if y'all follow any ad agencies, but what Wieden and Kennedy does is beautiful. And they push a lot of boundaries. So I follow a lot of ad agencies too. And I'll look at their pages and kind of like see what, and also anime. Anime really inspires me. I watch a lot of Attack on Titan. I feel like there's certain weird things like that, bro. But like, but yeah, living inspires me. Getting out, having conversations with people, seeing things. It's been kind of hard in COVID because obviously I've been safe, but like a lot of things inspire me. I think my personal best trait is my curiosity. You know what I mean? Always remain curious. Always remain curious. You know what I mean? Like, and the one thing I regret about college is I didn't learn more. I wish I would have dove into different books that didn't necessarily inspire me at the time, but just to see what was in there. Like, I remember as a kid, I didn't read none of I did all like the Sparks notes and stuff. I was in college prep English and I didn't read the classics. And when I got into my later 20s, I was like, let me just check these classics out. Like, To Kill a Mockingbird, Things Fall Apart, all of that. And all those things, I'll read it and get something out of it. And I gain this knowledge and I'll share these, I think the smarter you are, the more knowledge you have, the better you are at probably like at creating content. I definitely believe that. And so I try to get, I'm inspired by all different types of things. But right now, yeah, probably like a lot of Attack on Titan. Over the last couple of years, I go to art museums and I read as much as I can. I try to dive into as many books as I can, just to to some of these classics. They're so good. They're so good. And I'm like, I'm jealous about, like, I wish there's, I'm like To Kill a Mockingbird. I can't believe somebody made a book that good. You know what I mean? I can't believe Harper Lee, she really tapped in. You know what I mean? Like, it's just like certain books that, what's it, The Bluest Eye? I read that recently, and I'm like, the type of effort it takes to be that good at something, it inspires me to work harder. You know what I mean? Because I know like they were going hard trying to create that. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know if that answers your question, though.
It does. I love what I'm hearing you say, which is curiosity above all.
Yeah.
And looking into different fields, different mediums for inspiration, everything from yourself as a young person to prolific authors to people on TikTok. So very cool. Thanks.
Awesome. Marcus.
Hey, thanks again for joining, John. I joined a little late, so apologies if you already covered this. But when you were telling your story about Manny Pacquiao and just saying how the lessons you learned from mom, it reminded me of the power of hearing no. And I wanted to see if you could kind of touch on that if you haven't already. Like, I think a lot of times, especially when you're creating content, you think that it's something that is this instant gratification and people just do it and they either have an inherent talent or they got an opportunity and they just, get to do it. And you don't see all of the times that they heard no before they heard yes. How many times you had to hear no before you got to interview Manny Pacquiao? How many times you had to hear no before you got Yahoo Sports to back you and say, yes, you can come on our platform and do your thing. So I think there's a lot of power in hearing it, and it's helpful to hear that you're going to hear no 9 times out of 10, but when that 10th one comes and you hear yes, then that's when you pounce and it's your turn to shine.
I heard no in various ways, like through not having opportunities to do stuff or working with people that I wanted to work with, an endless amount of times. But I felt like I just needed one opportunity. You know what I mean? Once I got that one opportunity, I'll be fine. So I kept trying. But I still hear no. But I approach no differently. Like, I'm the weirdo at Yahoo, bro. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm kind of, Toki probably relate. We kind of, we want to create certain things in certain ways. You know what I mean? Like, and so like, it's the people that are higher than me, they come from a totally different generation. So they don't necessarily understand how I want to go about doing things sometimes. But it's my job to make it relatable to them. I look at it like when I'm trying to pitch something, I'm trying to sell a product. You know what I mean? So if they said no, it's really, I didn't speak to them in the way I needed to speak to them. I didn't relay. So I'll just, go back to the lab, kind of retool it, come back, you know what I mean? And after a while, once you've shown proven results, you don't hear no as much. I might not get it, but I know these numbers are Gucci, so they'll let you do these things. But yeah, you're gonna hear no, whether it be like, people overlooking you or not thinking about you with certain opportunities, people saying, hey, we'll hit you up, like, I've been thinking about you about this, I want to, and then they don't respond, like they won't follow up with it. But I mean, if you have a desire for this, like I said, these desires aren't in you for no reason. You know what I mean? Like, we're pulled to do the things we want. And as we get older, we'll ignore that. You know what I'm saying? And I like, don't everybody, Pharrell, you know what I'm saying? Jay-Z, Beyonce heard no, dog. Who are you not to hear no? You feel me? If Queen B hearing no, you feel me? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like when I know Uzi, like I saw Uzi perform, like 2014 or something, like in Miami. This is before he blew up. Lil Uzi was like, I saw him, I knew he had the energy to be successful and all that. You know what I mean? People were talking so much shit about Lil Uzi when he first came out. Look at him now. You know what I mean? Not everybody loved Uzi. You know what I'm saying? Like, dog, don't let no or somebody else's, perception of you. You're gonna hear it, you're gonna deal with that. especially if you're challenging things or pushing the boundary, which I advise you to do. You know what I mean? And so like, yeah, no is common. You'll always hear no. Like I said, I still hear no. You know what I mean? You'll always hear no. You just get used to it. Don't take it personal. Also with certain things too, in art school, they told you don't fall in love. Like don't fall in love with your ideas. You know what I mean? You're gonna have to, you fall in love, you're gonna be so heartbroken every time you have to kind of change certain things. Sometimes you're gonna have to change certain things to fit a particular, brands and whatnot, or whatever you're working on. And your job is to satisfy, the customer. And I'll look as my higher ups as a customer. And so I'll see what are things that I can compromise on and what are things that I won't. You know what I mean? And then I'll keep pushing it in that way and try to deliver it to them in ways they understand, which generally numbers, but whatever. But yeah, no is common. No doesn't make you lesser. No makes you normal. You know what I mean? Like, no, you know what I'm saying? Like, no is very normal. It's very common. It's consistent, and that's something you have to get used to.
Okay, so I gave you a little bit more time than you asked for.
That's why I was like, how much time you want? I know I did.
Thank you so much. Hey, everyone, give it up for our guest speaker, LeJethro Jenkins. Thank you so much. This was so inspiring, and I did not have the heart to cut this off because it was really what the students needed to hear. Next, I'm going to tell you what your challenge is for the week. And so let me try to relate it back to what you've just been hearing. You want to pursue a certain field. You have majored in something, but you really have a sense for what your passion is and what you want to bring to life in the world, right? So this is your opportunity to create, and we're asking you to do it by creating a class or a learning opportunity for others. Now, you all know something. You all know you're all good at something in this world, right? Something that you love. And we're asking you to pick that thing and to teach it. Last week, we taught it synchronously. We asked you to use BlueJeans or Zoom to teach a class, and we practiced and gave you some tips on how to do that. This week, we're going to teach you a little bit about asynchronous, and I've got 6 minutes to do it. So let's see if I can, all right? I'm gonna race through some basic principles that give you an idea of what we are asking you to do. So you're going to identify something that you're really good at. We're not going to teach it in 5 minutes, but why should you want to teach? Well, I mean, everyone is imparting some kind of knowledge. Content creation, in a sense, is imparting knowledge. And as you lift yourself up as a thought leader, someone who's able to do something really well and able to give that gift to others, you'll be noticed for a variety of things. You'll be helping others. You'll be seen as a leader. They say the best way to learn is to teach something. You might be able to monetize your knowledge. Certainly you establish your thought leadership. And because organizations, companies that you might be interested in joining, consider themselves learning organizations. Everything changes in 2-3 years' time, and they need to see that you are a learning individual, and that having someone in you who's able to impart knowledge to your teammates is an asset to be able to say. So there's 2 modes of teaching. Last week we did synchronous. This week we're doing asynchronous. You have experienced these learning opportunities. So we'll get into what that is in a moment. The secret formula. So great experiential and active learning has a person dive right in and do something, then learn how to do it better. And you're giving people a reason to want to know how to do that technique better. But they wouldn't know that they needed to know that if they didn't just dive right in, all messy and, possibly even failing at doing it. Not a big deal. Just have them do it, push themselves out of the comfort zone, have them learn some more, and then do it better. Ways to engage people. Make sure your content is relevant. So you know a certain something, find the people who really want to know that certain something. Use music, warm up, polls, chat, forum, breakout rooms, ways to keep people active and engaged with one another. So the Instagram, Facebook, WhatsApp challenge is asking you to teach an asynchronous class using one of those platforms, right? We don't want you to overthink. You don't need a Moodle or Blackboard or I've used certain other platforms, NovoEd and Coursera. You can use anything. Decide what you want to teach, to whom, market your class, recruit friends, strangers, doesn't matter. Collect registrations, email a reminder, design a short learning experience, and measure what they learned by way of survey. And all of this is really going to help you understand what that cycle is like and be able to communicate that to potential employers. If you have an idea of what you want to teach, drop it in the chat window. We're going to skip this for a moment, and I'm going to give you some examples. So Fatima at Morgan State last cycle taught Zoom etiquette. So we just dove right into a pandemic, and people really didn't know how to hold interviews on Zoom, how to show up, how to light your face, what you want in your backdrop. And she gave people in her local community of Baltimore, Maryland, some great Zoom tips by way of a class on Facebook. And that recorded content now lives on Zoom and is accessed by other people, which is what a great asynchronous way to learn, right? So you don't have to sign up for her class, you can just go consume the content. My colleague, University Innovation Fellow, one of my students, Siddharth in India, taught design thinking. He recruited people using Facebook and WhatsApp. Here you can see he's marketing this event. He had about 30 students from all over India sign up for his design thinking class, which he taught by way of Inogen, a company that he created, and he didn't charge anything. But he had people enrolling from the IIT, which is the equivalent of MIT in India. And they were raving about this class. So this is a little bit of information that he shares. You'll have the deck, you can read it afterwards. I want to tell you about University Innovation Fellows. Is a program that I founded in 2012. It now resides at Stanford. Essentially, it was acquired by Stanford in 2016. I now work full-time for Stanford. These students that you see, there are 300 of them that come to Stanford once a year. All the newly trained fellows come. Tara, who's in the group here today, is one of those folks. I'm trying to recruit another one of you from your campus. So these students never would have had the opportunity to become change agents. They're change agents at their school. They're designing classes, makerspaces, TEDx conferences. They're helping change education at their schools. There's 270 of them all over the globe now, most of them in the US. And the way we even convince universities to pay us to train them is because we put them through an asynchronous learning opportunity. We give them sessions like this. It now resides on our wiki, not Facebook or social media platform, but we teach them this is all that should exist at your campus. Go figure out what does exist, identify what the gaps are, design something that fills that gap. Right? So we come up with the tools, we give it to them in this way, we tell them why it's important, they go figure it out, come back in a Zoom-like environment and share it. It's asynchronous. We never would have been able to do that with the 2,000, close to 3,000 students we've trained since 2012, had we not made it asynchronous. Universities wouldn't have stood for it. So another example is, since last June, I've been a side hustle. Grassroots organizing, not for pay, helping white people in my small white town of Massachusetts figure out what's going on with respect to race, get over their issues, understand the systemic issues. And so that work led me to be invited by Stanford to teach 30 out of the 40 people at the D School about racism through personal work groups. These are, this is a mural, all the images, we ask people, what comes, how are you, what image comes to mind as you think about this journey? They all shared this, and we are creating we put everyone in pairs, so there's 15 groups, and each week they do something. So we have them get to know one another. This week, this next one, they are coming reading How to Be an Anti-Racist. We give them discussion questions. They record their ahas, their questions, and then they schedule their next meeting. We'll have about 6 before we shake it up. So that's asynchronous. I wouldn't have been able to take on that extra work necessarily. I'm not getting paid anymore, but it's a passion of mine. I want to do it. And so asynchronous design was the way I was able to really make it work with my time limitations. So we are asking you to think about what you care about and to teach someone that thing, teach a group of people that thing, and be able to come on Friday. So you'll submit it on Thursday by way of this form. You'll arrive on Friday ready to share with mentors what you taught, how you taught it asynchronously, and they'll be able to give you input on your technique, what kinds of asynchronous opportunities they're a part of. And that's at Friday, 3 p.m. Eastern, noon Pacific, at an hour of mentorship. I think that is it. Tara's going to drop the Monday survey link, a link to a survey. Our program is really, we care a lot about what you say and what you think, and how you valued this. We use it to improve our next sessions. So please complete that in the next few moments, if you wouldn't mind. And how's that? I'm 2 minutes over. So I'll just pause there and see if anyone has any questions.
Good. Great
That was
job.
super fast, super fast. Any thoughts or questions? Students, I expect each one of you, like we'll provide tech support to you all week long. Just email us. We want to help you do this. This is really going to up your game with your potential employers. Toby, I can see a data science class. I can see you helping people create dashboards with your data science capabilities. Grace on the veterinary science side, on all the stuff that you do on your passion. Angelica, I'm hoping that you're going to teach people about your mad music skills. Unique Linton, I haven't gotten to know what your passion is yet, but I'm hoping to see you and Maria also bring that to life this weekend, this week. All right, terrific. I look forward to getting your feedback by way of the survey. Give it up once again for our speakers. Thank you so much for joining us. And we'll see you this week, this Friday at 3 p.m.
Thank you so much, John. Thank you.